Good evening. Because the story out of the Gulf of Mexico has not changed in over a month, and because there's oil spilling into that water right now and every minute of every day, the anger and despair there are now taking a toll. Now the oil is surging miles up and into the marsh. More than 65 miles of some of the most beautiful coastline in the United States now affected. The damage spread across 3 states, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. The effort to stop it, clean it up is huge. 22,000 people are working on it just there in the spill zone. Over 750,000 gallons of chemical dispersant, and that's a story in itself, have been poured into the Gulf to try to break up the slick, which is now the size of Delaware and Rhode Island combined. We have complete coverage again tonight, beginning with our Chief Environmental Affairs correspondent, Ann Thompson. Ann, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. As BP works to try and plug that well starting Wednesday morning, the oil giant faces potential fines and perhaps even a criminal investigation, while taking a public beating from residents fed up here and a very frustrated Obama administration. This is the fight for Louisiana's coast. Black Hawk helicopters build a sandbag defense in the channels on Pelican Island, one of the barrier islands weakened by 8 decades of erosion, now under attack from oil.
We are not standing on the sidelines and letting BP do what BP wants to do. The federal government has mounted the largest response to fight this oil in all of the history of this country.
It's clear that the defense of the shoreline at this point has not been successful, and I feel devastated by that, absolutely gutted.
None of this impresses oysterman Mitch Jurisic.
Sandbags aren't enough. They're a temporary fix, like putting a Band-Aid on a big cut.
The big cut is that still spewing oil well at the bottom of the Gulf. Just last Friday, Mitch's oyster boat was a loud, messy, floating factory. Today, it is empty and still. We headed out to the leak site and found a toxic soup in the Gulf of Mexico. Enormous rivers of oil and dispersant on the surface and underneath 16 miles from the coast. 26 miles out, the Gulf is a Red Sea. It is bleeding oil. We got within 3 miles of where the oil rig went down that started this disaster. This armada of ships and rigs is what BP hopes will stop the leak. This is the epicenter of the spill zone, and it is from here that BP will try the top kill technique. It will pump heavy drilling mud through the blowout preventer to plug the well. Sargasso grass floats in the spill zone. Our boat captain, James Peters, says it's home to key links in the Gulf's food chain. What eats a Sargasso shrimp or a Sargasso crab?
Pretty much all the bait fish out here. Flying fish are the food that everything eats, the marlin, the dolphin, the tuna, the wahoo.
They are the lifeblood of the ocean, and they are the lifeblood of this region. Late this afternoon, EPA Administrator Lisa Jackson came here to Venice to announce that the EPA is directing BP to significantly reduce the amount of dispersant it is using, both from the air and undersea. Brian?
Ann Thompson starting us off tonight. Ann, thanks.